every elected leader or official is fighting for their space. And Mr. Speaker, what normally you realize is that in the process, there are those who suffer, and that's the Kenyan public. To a large extent, Mr. Speaker, I even extrapolate my thinking that maybe we have never quite understood what this thing we call democracy was all about. It was never meant that if we disagree, then it becomes personal, or it is something that we can fight physically or otherwise about. My conviction and belief is that this House understands its responsibility. I believe that the Kenyan public has got a soft heart for this House because it knows, you know, this House is the only one that does not directly handle money. The reason for that is that you have the two levels of national level and at the county level, and therefore our role is purely just to oversight. And this oversight sometimes is not very clear to people. This oversight is seen as being vindictive sometimes, it is seen as an exercise in futility, and others seem to think that our job in this House is actually meant to be just a house for retirees and people who have literally no value, since it is assumed that many of us would be moving towards the elderly years of our years. And yet in reality, this House carries some of the best, some of the most intelligent, some of the most educated people. Mr. Speaker, if you were to sit here, starting with yourself, and we start running what everybody's CV is, Kenyans will shudder. It is only last month that I came to know that my vice chair in the Committee of Health, Tabitha, is a pharmacist. I actually didn't know. And it has been wonderfully useful when we go to health facilities, when we visit the hospitals, and we try and interrogate.
Senator Okanyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to support the statement by the Embu Senator on the discovery of minerals in Embu, and wish to say that probably this committee needs to go beyond Embu, because it's not for the first time this matter is coming, not just on Embu. The other time, Senator Eddie of Migori raised the same on gold, and I commented and said probably I need to hear from the ministry on what they look at for them to term a certain mineral strategic. For instance, we have soapstone down in Tabaka, South Mogrango and Kisii, and this has existed for a very long time, but I've seen very little intervention from the ministry to have that looked at seriously, so that all regions and whatever mineral that exists in their areas can benefit the people. And I hope the case in Embu is not going to be the case in Turkana, whereby such mineral is discovered and the residents take a very long time for them to ever see the essence of why this was even brought to their attention, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to request that the committee that is going to look into this issue goes beyond just Embu County and the very many other areas where minerals have actually, discoveries have happened. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Nairobi City County, the Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
Speaker, listening to the request for statement by the Senator from Machakos, the Honorable Kavindu, you will notice that our people have a yearning for development. My reading and understanding of the Constitution under the 4th schedule, clause 7, when it comes to trade and development and regulation, this is a function that is specifically assigned to county governments. And I want to reiterate, Honorable Speaker, that we here in Nairobi have witnessed very, very unfortunate spectacle just a few days ago, that there is a government program to redevelop Gikomba market. If you speak to many of those traders, Honorable Speaker, and I was fortunate enough on the 14th of March to interact with those ones at Ruai Market, Honorable Speaker, the way these programs are being run is the problem. Development must carry the people along, involve the people. Speaker, the traders, for instance, at Gikomba, and even in Rai, they're being told you relocate to a certain place, then allow this place to be built up. When you see where they are being sent, Honorable Speaker, in the case of Rai, they are being sent to the Eastern Bypass. There's like a place there on the Eastern Bypass. Even basic amenities such as toilets do not exist in those places that people want to be relocated. There's a problem with the numbers that you are relocating. You bring down stalls for 10,000 people and send them to a place that can only accommodate 2,000 people. People want development, but it must be done in a humane manner and in accordance with the law. The Constitution requires it. It is an imperative for you to involve the people whenever you are developing these programs. When this administration was campaigning, we were told the specter of nighttime demolitions would be a thing of the past. Speaker, if indeed you are doing it for the people, why come in the dead of the night and demolish people's stores? Why can't you just come during the day and even allow the people to cut away their property and tell them now this is the day for the demolitions? Whenever you see anything that is done in the dead of the night, it cannot be for the good of the people. So I want to warn Senator Kavindu that she must stand on guard, because some of these programs actually end up hurting our people because they are not done properly. We have asked, for instance, why can these programs be run in a way that is phased? Must you kick out 10,000 people at a time, at once, or you can actually phase out and do it in 3 phases, where you have 3,000 people relocating, the market is built, people come back in, and you do the next phase. I have never understood why that does not make sense to this administration. So that you bring misery to 10,000 people at once. There is no knowing when that market will be complete. There is no knowing what these traders are supposed to be doing now, because they have lost their livelihoods. Speaker, there is no one who sits around waiting for 9 months, or the 6 months, or the 3 months that are thrown around for their livelihoods to go back to how they were. They have children to take to school. They have to eat. They have rent to pay. So let us do.
Senator Sige.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me respond to the statement by Senator Kavindu in terms of the unremitted statutory deductions by the various county governments on the payments due, whether as NSSF deductions or whether they are NHIF deductions. Madam Speaker, the failure by our various county governments, not only Machakos County government that Senator Kavindu made reference to, but it cuts across almost all the county governments. They deduct from the salaries of their employees statutory deductions, but they fail. And in most cases, Madam Speaker, especially when you note from the report of the Auditor General, these deductions are intentionally retained for diversion to other interest claims. At the end of the day, an employee whose salary has been deducted, but those statutory deductions not remitted, entirely fails to gain on the services and the entitlements that they are supposed to. And I support that to the extent of the deductions which are done by the various county governments, we must be able to compel them to make sure that once they are deducted within certain timelines, because that is the requirement of the law, those deductions must be remitted to the relevant, whether it's a government agency or whether it is a statutory institution like NSSF or NHIF that receives, and failure to which penalties must be put on the unpaid or unremitted amounts, so that at the end of it all, it is the employee who will benefit as well as that institution in form of the penalties that are levied on the county governments that not deduct. Madam Speaker, I do therefore expect that the committee that will be expected to deal with this statement will pass a resolution that will be able to support the employees whose deductions are not remitted. I thank you.
Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for granting me the opportunity. Madam Speaker, I want to support the statement by the Senator of Embu on the issue of minerals, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, it is important to notice that there are serious challenges to this industry, Madam Speaker. For example, Madam Speaker, the issue of royalties continue to remain unsolved by the parent ministry. Madam Speaker, it is so unfortunate that Treasury keeps on confirming that there are monies that they are keeping for royalties, and yet communities are not able to access these royalties, and yet county governments are not able to access these royalties, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, the most weird thing is that the parent ministry is to prepare the regulations that would help in the payment of the royalties. Madam Speaker, communities have over the years preserved and protected these natural resources, and so it is very unfair. So even as the committee looks at this, the issue of regulations for the payment of royalties must be dealt with. But Madam Speaker, there are also other issues that come into play. For example, the issue of safety of miners, that even though the people of Embu might be excited that minerals, they are going to explore these minerals, but over in our communities where there are minerals, we do not see the communities benefiting so much. Madam Speaker, in the past we have seen a lot of accidents where a number of miners have lost their lives when they are buried in gold mines. We have seen the challenge that is there in Western Kenya of the gold mining area in Kakamega and in Siaya. It is probably a time that the government must pay attention into the way in which the contractors are acquired, Madam Speaker, that the communities must be involved in public participation, and our communities must also benefit from these minerals. Madam Speaker, the issue of safety is there. The issue of environmental measures that must be taken into consideration. The issue of even rehabilitation of the mines once they are closed, and there is also need to pay attention to the social impact. Madam Speaker, I also want to comment on your statement that you made over SHA. And I want to say that SHA must be made to work, Madam Speaker. I have evidence, I've been in hospitals, and I've seen.
Sorry, Senator Khalwale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the statement by the Senator of Marsabit in respect of the El Molo community. Madam Speaker, I was recently in Turkana and saw with my own eyes that El Molo Bay village has been submerged by the water, just like Komode Primary School. This statement, I urge that the government must come clear on how they are going to settle the villagers of El Molo Bay village, and what's more, instead of taking the funds, Madam Speaker, from the recoveries they make through the housing levy and investing those monies in treasury bills, can the government, since they are unable to absorb that money, they have too much money, can they go and take this community to a safe ground? This is a community that doesn't have an MP in Kenya. It doesn't have an MCA in Turkana. We truly must speak for it. Madam Speaker, the second point is the Senator of Embu. He has raised the issue of concluded aerial geological surveys. Maybe some members might not know, at the end of this aerial geological survey, when the investors now come in, they do not go and apply for a mining license. They apply for a survey license. So they're going to stay there for the next 10 years, mining these minerals, pretending that they are doing surveys when in fact they are making profit. And finally, on that point, Madam Speaker, the government must tell us what are the minerals in Embu? Is it diamond? Is it gold? What is it? The old mindset where African countries have never benefited from minerals must come to an end with the new governments. I was in the House of Commons and I saw a seat 20 feet tall, pure gold, on which the Queen was sitting, small like this, and that thing is built from gold that was gotten from Ekolomani in Kakamega and from Accra. And we got nothing in exchange, Mr. Speaker. This must stop, and I'm surprised that the government today is supporting some fellow gold, Chanda Gold, to come and continue furtherance of that exploitation of the people of Kakamega in Ekolomani, Shinyanga.
Next order.
Order number 8, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2025, first reading.
Next order.
A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issue of a sum of money out of the Equalization Fund and its application towards the service of the year ending 30th June 2026 to appropriate that sum of certain public-based services and for connected purposes.
Next order. Senator Khalwale, what's the point of order?
I'm rising on a constitutional issue. And now that we have taken the order on bills, the matter is in respect of the Division of Revenue Bill and the bill for the county allocation of revenue. Madam Speaker, Article 218 of the Constitution states that at least 2 months before the end of each financial year, there shall be introduced in Parliament, A, a Division of Revenue Bill, and B, a County Allocation Revenue Bill. Madam Speaker, going by what happened yesterday, it looks like the Division of Revenue Bill has been paused. And arising from that, Madam Speaker, for which I would like you to guide the House, arising from that, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, which arises from the decision on the Division of Revenue Bill, cannot be introduced before Parliament. Given that today is the last sitting, when we come from recess, Madam Speaker, we shall be remaining with only 3 sitting days before this constitutional timeline is breached. How is the office of the Speaker, the office of the House or Senate Business Committee, how do you want to navigate this so that these constitutional timelines are not beaten, and so that at the end of it, when we do it wrongly, Kenyans will go to court and find, Madam Speaker, that the Constitution, not the Constitution, the budget of Kenya 2026-2027 has been handled unconstitutionally by Parliament. What's more, Madam Speaker, the pausing of the Division of Revenue Bill yesterday, what was the wisdom? The Division of Revenue Bill is not just about the money that goes to county governments. This House had a quarrel with governors. It had no quarrel with the national government. It had no quarrel with the money meant for equitable. Yes?
I think I would want to stop you and bring your attention to order number 18. The order number 18 today is the Division of Revenue Bill. So kindly sit down, let us finish.
Madam Speaker, if you allow me to finish, I don't want to be rude. If you allow me.
Can you quickly finish what you're saying? Yeah.
Yes, Madam Speaker. These are constitutional issues. They'll end up in court and we look like all of us, we don't know what we are doing. I would like clarity on this matter because we had no quarrel with the equalization fund, which is in that bill. We had no quarrel with money due to the national government, which is in that bill. We only had a quarrel with money due to county governments. And what is more, not all governors have breached the requirement to come before the Public Accounts Committee. They have come religiously. So when you pause it and you punish everybody.
Senator Halwale, I have actually brought to your attention that the bill is scheduled as order number 18 in today's order. Senator Sifuna, what is your point of order? Yes, Senator.
Madam Speaker, in my understanding of the decision that was taken by this House yesterday, is that we are not sending a single coin, it doesn't matter under which instrument, to these governors. In fact, if you look at this equalization fund bill that has just been read for the first time, it has a schedule of 33 counties. I can confirm that the 29 that precipitated this problem, including Wajir, where the chair of the Council of Governors, who is the problem in this issue, is here expected to receive, let me see, a total of 1.9 billion Kenya shillings. We are not giving the governor of Wajir money. Period.
Senator
So,
Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, no, just a clarification I wanted from you is, if you are telling us that we decided yesterday to stand down the division of revenue, what is it doing on our order paper? We said we will not discuss that bill until these rogue governors, and in fact, Honorable Speaker, I was speaking with some of these governors, they didn't understand what the problem is. The problem, the cause of this stalemate is the governor of Wajir. In fact, Honorable Speaker, governors were coming to CPAC, and being called by the governor of Wajir, we are not going to give him 1.9 billion shillings so that he can prance around telling us that he's the one who knows about devolution.
Senator Sifuna, at order number 12, we are actually going to finalize the conversation that we had yesterday.
The record must be set.
Speaker,
Senator Sifuna, please.
Let me clarify, Speaker. Let me clarify.
Okay.
Yesterday, and the Hansard can bear me witness, the majority leader stood to move the division of revenue. A decision of this House was made that we are not going to handle that matter until the chair of the Council of Governors removes that illegal directive of people or governors not appearing before the county Public Accounts Committee. So I think it is in defiance of a decision of this House for someone to purport to sneak that DORB into the order paper today. And this one must suffer the same fate until Governor Jir
Senator
Roba.
Senator Sifuna, you may sit down. Senator Roba, what is your point of order?
Chair Finance. But he's subject of this House. No. Chair Finance is subject of this House.
Senator Robert, Chair, you are out of order. Can you go to the appropriate place and do...
It has come. It has come.
Thank you, Senator Robert. You may proceed.
Madam Chair, I have raised on an issue that Senator Kalwale has sought some constitutional requirements that is likely to pose quagmire for us ahead. He is not questioning other decisions that maybe the chamber has done. The issue he requires is guidance in line with Article 218 that requires the tabling and processing, at least 2 months before the end of each financial year, the Division of Revenue Bill and County Allocation of Revenue Bill. and the politics around the issue that is happening right now within the Senate and the county government. We have some challenges that need to be navigated. And the point here, Senator Sifuna, not that I'm addressing you through the chair, is the concerns here shared is taking cognizance of the provisions of these articles and the reality we're dealing with and the fact that we're going on recess. How do we legally navigate around it? And as a respected legislature, I did not expect you, my colleague, to stand and say, regardless of whether the Constitution says or the law says. That one, I believe, it shouldn't have come from you. The answer will indicate the same. You know, the provisions are reality that is with us. The leadership of this House must navigate realistically around the constitutional requirements that are here. And we are not ignoring the decisions that has been made. And as the committee responsible on behalf of the House on these issues of constitutional deadlines, we need to be guided, you know, as a House. How do you intend us to navigate around it? That is what Senator Kalwale asked. He did not delve into other issues. Let's just restrict ourselves the constitutional requirements in the light of what's happening and the reality that we are going on recess.
Senator Roba, you may have your seat, please. No, you can't have a point of order after a point of order. Senator Roba, we have adequate time. There is no danger of the constitutional timelines being violated if that bill is not passed today. So, and we have the motion passed by Olekina. During that conversation, a decision can be made whether to actually discuss order number 18 to step it down and when to step it down. I don't think there is a constitutional requirement that that bill must pass today. So there is enough. You've raised, I think Senator Halwade has raised an important point. That important point will be handled by the House leadership. I don't think it has to be handled now. Yeah. So the next, Senator Onyonka, please. I suggest, I think, okay.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I hope that my colleagues realize that the Constitution we have is actually a cut and paste from the US Constitution. And I am hoping that they're prepared to realize that in the US Constitution, you can actually have a government shutdown if there is no negotiated agreement on what we are going to do. So I would want, because that has never happened, I think we need to start thinking about the precedent of such an exercise. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, next order, please.
Order number 9, the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2026, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide for the additional allocations to county governments for the 2026-2027 financial year, the responsibilities of the national government and county governments pursuant to such allocation and for connected purposes. Order number 10, the Artificial Intelligence Bill, Senate Bills number 4 of 2026, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide for the regulation and governance of artificial intelligence in Kenya, to establish the office of the Kenya Artificial Intelligence Commissioner, and for connected purposes. Order number 11, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 5. Order number 11, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2026, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to amend the County Governments Act to provide for compliance with the 2/3 principle and the consideration of persons living with disabilities in the appointment of county executive committee members and for connected purposes. Order number 12, motion, implementation of recommendations by select committees on county public accounts and county public investment and special funds on Auditor General reports for financial year 2024-2025, resumption of debate.
Senator Eddie Okech, you had 3 minutes left. Why don't you come to the front? Oh, okay. It's not. It's okay. Proceed.
I hope my time is still.
Please give him the mic. You have it.
Oh, now I have the mic, Madam Speaker. I want to thank you, Madam Speaker. Just to put it in context, that yesterday we were discussing the agenda of why governors don't want to come to this house and the consequences this as in terms of our mandate and our role to send money to the counties, as well as to do our role in terms of being the watchdogs for the counties. And Madam Speaker, I like the fact that all the senators that I've seen in this house, majority of us, in fact almost all of us, do not do oversight in funerals. We do not do our oversight roles in functions in the villages. We do our oversight roles professionally in this house so that our accountability does not become a witch hunt. And that is the context with which the reports that have been put in this house by all the honorable senators of this house make us more honorable than governors. But that is not to say that we cannot be able to hold these governors accountable. And in that context, Madam Speaker, I was asking the people of Kenya yesterday that if the Auditor General, for instance, in the case of Migori County, has indicated the following, is it right that my governor would refuse to come before PAC in the pretext and in the context of COG saying that they cannot appear before this Senate? So, Madam Speaker, I was continuing by telling you that the Auditor General has indicated in her report that there is a laboratory that was supposed to build for a dispensary in Nyamekongoroto in Kuria. And the governor of Migori, with the grade of the executive, used 4.1 million shillings. And that money, in the best understanding of the auditor, did not do the job. I was asking my governor, Governor Ochila Yako, is it okay as a country that they don't appear before the Senate to answer this? Madam Speaker, further, there was a maternity ward. You know how our women have suffered in this country, in a place called Nyamotembe Dispensary. This also is in Kuria. That the Auditor General report that is before you that were tabled in this house yesterday says that there was a use of 3.8 million shillings to build that particular ward. And the Auditor General went there, the money was used, but the ward was not built. I am asking the nation and the country, is it right for my governor not to appear before the committee of this house to answer to this money? Madam Speaker, there is a laboratory also for a healthcare center in Getabwanga Health Center in Kuria again, that the governor planned 1.5 million. And the Auditor General says the money was used and the ward was not built. The laboratory was not built. I am asking this honorable house and the nation, is it okay for the governor of Migori County not to appear to answer to this? Madam Speaker, I am still on the report before you in this house. There is a market shade in Gupimo that the governor spent 2.7 million and it paid some constructors, but the shade was not built according to the
Senator
Auditor General.
Okech, your time is over. Senator Wakili, we have
Just-
a malfunction.
just 30 seconds.
No, we have a malfunction. And we agreed yesterday, everybody's interested in speaking, so when your time is up,
30
please
seconds.
allow the
30
others.
seconds, just try
okay,
this out.
finish with the 30 seconds, and Wakili, you'll be next.
So I was just tying with that question on Gupimo market, that 2.7 million was lost. As I'm still asking, is it fair for the governor to show up? And I want to say, Madam Speaker, the country must understand that the Senate is not witch-hunting the governors. We are taking a fiduciary responsibility and accountability path to all our governors, and they will not waste the people's money. We have decided as a Senate that we are coming for the governors to make sure that they account for all these monies. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. This thing is malfunctioning.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you. We're struggling with this system. The other day, Madam Speaker, we had a concern raised before the House Business Committee on the malfunctioning of the system, and that is the experience that we have had from the time we started. But nonetheless, we have got important business to deal with. I want, Madam Speaker, to, from the very onset, thank the Senator from Narok for the motion that we are prosecuting. We did yesterday and today in terms of enhancing the oversight role of this House. And Madam Speaker, I do recall that previously we have equally prosecuted a motion that required all county governors to have any allocation to them as a first charge on pending bills paid out. That has never been implemented. Madam Speaker, they have refused to appear before this House. The drama that we experienced yesterday is that of a thief making every effort to paint the person trying to expose them as a wrong or on the wrong. Madam Speaker, a thief is a thief. Whether you've stolen diamond or whether you've stolen avocado seedlings that Professor Barchok of Bomet takes from Flocker Investments. So we need to call them by their names. And when the Auditor General gives us a report, I want to thank the committee for having proposed, and which we all support, that we adopt all the recommendations of those governors who appeared or who didn't appear before the committee for implementation. And some of them, Madam Speaker, taking pride on their appearance, including my governor, appearing before the committee to ask for an excuse and more time to go and explain and get documentation is not proper appearance, does not take away the responsibility that the Auditor General has given on the money stolen, and it still exposes the resources of our various county governments that have been stolen. And therefore, as a House, we must stand firm. And I want to agree with the rest of the colleagues here that we would have no business pushing for additional allocation or passing legislations that facilitate allocation of resources to these county governments when the same people who are supposed to account for the resources we have sent sees us as enemies of development. Immediately they get the resources. I want to agree that the resolution this motion is seeking, including the tracking of the implementation of the resolutions of the Auditor General's report, must be done, and must be done whether it's in this House or other government agencies, including the Office of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, where most of the problems that we have, in fact, is domiciled from. Madam Speaker, I am aware that my governor, who was previously charged over an amount that he claims to be very minimal, is still having a matter pending before the same institution, and we are saying that as a House, we must ensure that the collaboration mechanism that we put in place, whether in terms of fast tracking, whether in terms of calling out those officials who are delaying prosecution of these cases, whether it's the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission or the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, we need to call them to order so that we kill this monster called corruption. As a House, we've done our bit in making sure that the resources are put in place, sent out to the county governments, but we are not seeing the services to the people. And when we call upon the governors to appear before the committees, they say we are embarrassing them. Colleagues here have said the documentations that are brought before the committee are the ones that embarrasses some of them, including some who would not even want to read. Some of them claiming they are unable to read merely because the statements that have been placed before the Auditor General, before the committee, do not make sense. And therefore, we say they must answer to the theft of public resources. Madam Speaker, it doesn't make sense. For example, from the Auditor General's report, in the county government of Bomet, Professor Barchok takes Kenya shillings 119 million for casual employees whose records are not available. This money is taken by heads of departments and are not paid out. A number of them, Madam Speaker, have gone to court complaining matters are pending in court, and over 119 million, as reported by the Auditor General, has been siphoned from the public coffers. Do they want us to keep quiet when such amount of money have been lost? Madam Speaker, we took oath of office to protect devolution. We took an oath of office to make sure that services to the public are done by those who are relevant, and we must call them out. It does not make sense, Madam Speaker, where irregular payments of over 1,454 officers amounting to 50 million are paid outside the IPPG system. We can't keep quiet when this money is paid out through IPPG system. That tells you this money is paid to ghost workers. The public are crying to be employed. We are crying to get our brothers and sisters, our sons and daughters who have gone to school to be employed, and they opt to pay outside the system because that is the only way they can siphon this money. Over and above that one, Madam Speaker, we have got the sailings which the Auditor General reported. As a matter of fact, the governor's residence, which had a sailing of 45 million Kenya shillings, right now the report indicates that over 100 million Kenya shillings have been spent in building a governor's residence. Over 8 years ago, over 100 million have been spent, and the structure is still in a dilapidated state. The contractor is not on site, and they want us to keep quiet. They want us to go out there and say we are politicizing. Madam Speaker, that will not happen. This House will do that which the Constitution requires them. Madam Speaker, there is a lot. We've got over 25 ward offices which have been undergoing construction for the last 15 years since devolution began, and every financial year allocations are being made. The projects are never getting completed. As we speak right now, they are all stalled projects. Out of 25 wards in Bomet County, I think there are only 3 that are complete but have not been utilized. We can't keep quiet when public resources are being abused. We cannot keep quiet when we are watching money being stolen. And I like the fact that this House decided that if you have failed to appear, let monies that are meant to go to those counties be stopped. Unfortunately, the public servers, but let us do this so that the public gets to know that we are not witch hunting on these governors. We're just telling them, be responsible because we have given you the resources. When Kenyans passed the Constitution in 2010, they did not do it in order to devolve corruption. They did devolve governments expecting the governments to serve the people at the lowest level of representation, but they did not anticipate theft at the lowest level. They didn't anticipate governors who will be in office and who do not want to be asked to account for the resources which are sent from the national government to the county governments. It doesn't make sense that we are struggling right now. Out of the allocations to our counties, 50 to 60% of them have become employment bureaus. The amount of resources that goes into recurrent expenditure is over 50%. And the amount that goes to development is less than what the Constitution provides. We must, Madam Speaker, speak out this. We must call out those governors, not only those who appeared before the committee, but all of them, because the Auditor General's report has got various issues raised and specific to a number of these counties, and we must call them to book, and we must tell them. If it's about, for example, what Senator Osotsi, the chairperson of CPIC, the Bomet Water Services Company, Sewerage Company, is not a going concern. Madam Speaker, we appeared before them, the CEO of that institution and the CEO for water confirmed that it is no longer a going concern. Unfortunately, over 100 million Kenya shillings has already been budgeted for, allocated, and employees have not been paid their salaries. For the last 2 years, remittances have not been remitted, whether to NHIF or NSSF, yet these resources have already been budgeted for, have been allocated, and have been taken, of course, to the relevant accounts. But unfortunately, the county government, the governor and his cronies are the ones who are taking away. Apart from that, Madam Speaker, the law on health, Bomet County is one such county where the governor has decided to pass a policy where all dispensaries that receives FIF resources remit back to the county government over 25% of the remittances. He appeared before the committee. He admitted that that was what they were doing and requested for more time to go and rectify. How can you rectify an illegality? These monies gets back to the county governors, and it is unknown what utilization that money is done. And therefore, they would not expect us to keep quiet when we are getting to know that these resources is going to individuals, is going to their friends, yet we don't have drugs in our dispensaries, employees have not been paid, the infrastructure in those dispensaries are terrible. Madam Speaker, there is a lot that we must speak about. ECD centers, where over 111 million Kenya shillings have been allocated and signed up with contractors, but a good number of them do not have documents of ownership. Where does 111 million go to, if not to the stomachs of this team? Where does over 115 million Kenya shillings that has been set aside for the purchase of the stadium? Yet we are aware that amount has not been paid. The titles have not been issued, not because of anything, but because the contract on the part of the county government has not been honored. Yes, the money, 76 million, has already been set aside, and that is captured in the Auditor General's report. We therefore, Madam Speaker, cannot keep quiet and say we watch as they steal public resources. We must call them out, we must call them to order, and I support the motion that requires the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, this House, the Director of Public Prosecution, as well as other government institutions to pass under the Chapter 6 of the Constitution that this team of thieves are not fit to hold any public office in future. And even right now, Madam Speaker, I support and I thank the Honorable Senator Olekina, as well as the members that have come out to support this cause, because the only way we will perform our role under Article 96 to protect Constitution is to speak out. We don't have resources. We are the ones who are giving them resources. We must speak out. We must tell Kenyans, we must tell the residents of our various counties that we send resources, but they are stolen. We send resources and few people steal that money for their own benefit, and they must therefore be called out so that they know they are being watched, and Kenyans will not tolerate that as much as they are saying we are embarrassing them. We will continue embarrassing them in this House, in other places where we will. And lastly, allow me, Madam Speaker, to just quote for them the fact that they might be thinking they have the resources right now to protect themselves, whether in court, whether to pay for their way out, or get goons like the one who did yesterday here to protect himself here and in their places. Madam Speaker, Alex Hayes says, theft may give you a momentary advantage, but karma will ensure that you pay the price. Whether they will survive right now when they're in office, the law will catch up with them and they'll pay the price for stealing public resources. Madam Speaker, I support.
Honorable Senators, we agreed yesterday that only those who had not spoken to the motion be given opportunity. So I'd like to ask those who have not spoken to be the ones to log in so that they are given the opportunity. Next person is Senator Khalwale.
No, I've not spoken on this matter. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the people of Laikipia, the county represented by the distinguished Senator Kinyua, may they hear that I'm rising to speak to the pain that they are going through under the hands of these governors. Madam Speaker, I want to laud the attempt by the Senator of Narok to put another layer of emphasis on the fact that governors must be accountable. That's all that we are saying. Madam Speaker, we want members of the public. I've been following the discourse that has taken place from the drama which was there yesterday and now, and the members of the public, some of them are losing it. Forget about that drama. What we are talking about is accountability. Just like Parliament insists that the national executive should give the first charge on the consolidated fund for public debt, similarly, Senate is saying on pending bills, they should attract the first charge before governors make any other commitment on expenditure. And this is exactly what governors do not want. They want to run county governments like kiosks. They want to run them like personal accounts. They want to run them like the accounts they have opened for their children to pay their school fees, not caring where they get the money from that they put in the accounts that they've opened in the names of their children. We want to insist that governors must present themselves for oversight. And Madam Speaker, so that I do not lose track, let me appeal to the people of Kakamega. People of Kakamega understand the Public Accounts Committee. Governor Barasa is lucky I don't sit there. If I was sitting there, I would have added more oomph into what they did to him when he came and they found he had fallen short of the glory. People of Kakamega, why Governor Barasa should be forced and be frog-marched to Nairobi is for the following reasons. So that the people of Malaba can be told what happened to the 100 million that was in the account for construction of Tumbeni Dairy Factory, where we had 78 high-grade dairy cows. He should come and tell us what happened to the 100 million. He should come and tell us how did the animals drop from 78 to today 17 animals. These people come in the night, some agents of the governor, and they walk away with the cows belonging to the public. They are cattle thieves. They are cattle rustlers. This is what we want them to respond to. The people of Malaba want Governor Barasa to tell them what happened to the 250 million shillings that in the books indicates that it was put on the Butali-Maleka Road. The road is there looking like the bald head of Barasa. How I wish it was bald like mine. Mine is bald and smooth. Madam Speaker, the people of Mumias West and the people of Matungu want to hear Barasa explain what happened to the 400 million plus which he put for the construction of the road from Mumias town through Mwiboma, through Matawa, through Lureko, all the way up in Dangalasia. They want to be told because the money has been spent in the books, the road is not there on the ground. This is what we are talking about. The people of Matungu want Barasa to tell the country what happened to the millions, hundreds of them, 600 million that he put for the construction of the road from Bulimbo, Harambe Market, to go and cross all the way to Malaha. They want to be told. Instead, the road is not there, apart from Senator Sifuna, 3.5 kilometers to the governor's gate. And the 600 million shillings is gone. This is what the Public Accounts Committee is talking about. You must forget, you must forgive young Sifuna and young Okech for being energetic and moving the way they moved yesterday. It was the collective anger. The collective anger of this House. It was not that they wanted to assault Governor Lelit. No. In fact, Governor Lelit has nothing for which you can assault him. I mean, what does he have apart from those vehicles which he acquired the other day after looting the county treasury? I mean, if Senator Sifuna wanted to commit a robbery with violence, he wouldn't go to Samburu. He would go to the central bank where the real money is, Madam Speaker. Nobody should sympathize with these people. We must insist that accountability must be the order of the day. What's more, Madam Speaker, I want to appeal to the people of Shinyalu watching these proceedings that the reason why Governor Baraza must be brought here is to explain why today Shiamahubu Hospital, despite the hundreds of million shillings that have been pumped into it, 4 years since Governor Baraza went into office, they are yet to open the gates. And the money has been spent. The people of Ekolomani must bear with us and support us for marching Baraza to this place, because they want to be told the 120 million that was there for completion of the section from Eregi to cross River Lukose so as to come to Bushiangala to do that bridge, where the money went to. It is what we are talking about. And we are not about to keep quiet. If we don't do this, then the drama that the governor of Nairobi was trying to bring here, and I'm glad that Senator Sifuna, you are spot on. When you are contributing on that debate, you came with the report of the Auditor General. You are reading it out for the people of Nairobi to realize that it was nothing personal. You know, recently, because Sifuna has become Sisi Sifuna, people think he's doing things for other reasons. No. He is discharging on this one his mandate. Whether he's a two-term or one-term person is not the issue. The issue is about accountability. Mr. Speaker, the way you're looking at me is like it's a crime to say two-term. The people who are saying two-term, they are saying they want President Ruto to continue in office. And those who are saying one-term, we are saying he has fallen short of performance, and therefore he should be relieved of the burden. All democratic positions. So how you criminalize it and you end up tear-gassing politicians when they are articulating serious national issues like one term, it beats my logic. Completely, it beats my logic. You shouldn't. Why tear-gas them? Why? For what reason? In fact, when Moi arrested me as a young, dashing doctor because of my conscience, I look back and I say, probably Moi would have killed us if he was having the kind of bad and attitude. But the guy used to lock us. He locked me up. He locked Richard Onyonka. And we have lived. Yes, we have lived to say it. Why attack people? And we thought it would just be tear gas, Mr. Speaker. Now they are using bullets, and we would have thought there would be rubber bullets. They are using live rounds. And Murkomen is there, shouting, shoot to kill. Honorable Nelson Koech from Belgut is there, shouting, shoot to kill. And the president is saying, shoot in the leg. Really? Really? What country do we want to build? We refuse. And because we are experienced and senior citizens of the country, we fear nothing. We are saying that God has given us beautiful children, some of them to tell in public gallery.
Senator Halwale, your time is up. The way I looked at you was to tell you that besides 2-term and 1-term, there is also long-term, and there is no term. So it wasn't anything to communicate other than to tell you even half-term is existing. Thank you, Senator Halwale. I'll ask Senator Muma to give her contributions.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity to speak to this motion. And thank you, Senator Ledama, for moving this motion, which I support, and with amendments. I don't know whether we can amend. Honorable Senators, this is a very important issue. Lawlessness will kill this country. The senators are angry because of lawlessness. The PAC and PIC have carried out their task in accordance with the Constitution, but the governors think this is a joke. The governors think they are so much above the law that they cannot subject themselves to what the law requires. And I think that is bad. So the key issue here is lawlessness. What are we supposed to do about lawless public servants, lawless state officers? Are we supposed to be terrified and say, now if the governors say we cannot do this, then the Senate should proceed as we earlier were told by Senator Halwale, or their constitutional timelines? I think the country will collapse if we don't pass this division of revenue. We need to start asking our questions, these questions, seriously. And that lawlessness applies to everybody, including the Senate. And it will be my wish that the Senate and the Council of Governors would be the entities that are helping this country to bring back devolution on track. I feel so sad that we are at that stage where we are speaking at each other instead of speaking with each other to try and bring back devolution on course. The reports submitted by the two committees, CPAC and CPIC, it's unfortunate that they were just submitted on a day and there was hardly any time to speak on it. If you ask me, Honorable Speaker, this House should have had ample time, possibly a whole week of conversation discussing the reports for the 29 counties that have whose governors have refused to appear before the committees. That is the only way that the citizens in those counties get to hear what is in those reports. In this time of 10 minutes, we are just speaking in anger because of how they have behaved. But there is a serious accountability issue. I find it sad, Honorable Senators, that county public servants are being taken for a ride. Their statutory deductions have been squandered. If you have a government that doesn't care about the very people who take care of themselves, can they take care of citizens? I think we are in a bad place as a country. That you can consciously direct that statutory deductions be deployed to other things, be squandered, is a big problem for this country. And it is something, it points to the fact that the governance has gone wrong in Kenya and we need to do something about it. Now, the motion has proposed a number of things, and that's where I think we might want to relook and think of amendments. In paragraph 1, Senator Ledama suggests that we should resolve that PIC and PAC should track implementation of the Senate-approved recommendations and table monthly progress reports detailing the compilations, the compliance status. My view is that PIC and PAC, having been the ones who have picked these issues, should not be the ones moving for implementation. It has been suggested in this House several times that an implementation committee be established, but that has not happened. I think good governance would require that we get a committee that can actually follow up on implementation. And that committee, in my view, should develop a tool that we can use to track implementation. And that implementation would not only be implementation by the county governments, it should also be implementation by the EACC, by the DCI, by the ODPP, so that there is a round table of holding every institution accountable on what they are supposed to do. That is not happening anywhere, so whoever is concerned know that they can do what they will get away with this. We need this House, 13 years after the devolution was operationalized, since 2023, this House needs to do Kenyans a favor and actually develop a clear accountability tool with indicators which can publicly be accessible to wananchi to see if this was recommended. If we have recommended that all monies required for the pensions and gratuities of workers of the county should be remitted to where they're supposed to be remitted, that should be followed up, and every month we should be able in this House to read publicly and say this county is compliant, this one is not compliant. But we are not doing anything about it. We only vent for that moment when we are angry, and nothing happens around that. Honorable Speaker, PIC and PAC work on the basis of the reports of the Auditor General. And the reports of the Auditor General work on the basis of the functions that counties have elected to implement. Honorable Speaker, I sit in the Committee on Education, and I would want to inform this House that there are some functions that governors are doing nothing about. 13 years into devolution, the Senate has also not come up with a tracking method to find out whether every function assigned to counties under the 4th schedule is actually being implemented. Those of you who sit in the Committee on Education will attest to the fact that we have gone to some counties and the governor doesn't seem to have a clue on what they're supposed to do about ECDE. We have found counties that have invested zero in TVCs. We have counties that don't even know the percentage of the population of learners in their counties who are not in national government tertiary institutions and who are in the VTCs. The VTCs have a very small enrollment because governors prefer to assist the national government, enter into an MOU with the national government to give county funds to schools where even MPs are giving bursaries, where you have many scholarships, and they are doing nothing about the very function they have been given. So I am suggesting that accountability based on only the financial audit of where the governors have deployed the monies is not full accountability. We need to come up with tools that can actually tell the residents of Vihiga, the residents of Tana River, that your governor or your government has been implementing these functions, has been doing nothing about this function. I think that is what we were established to do. So as I finalize, I'm requesting that we find a way of getting the two entities to get back to business in accordance with the law. And I'm calling on Council of Governors to be humble enough to actually start appearing before this the park and the pig. You have no legal mandate to pass a resolution that you cannot appear. Please submit all the evidence you have against any senator and get that senator investigated. You cannot stop accountability of the funds that you are doing because you don't like the face of a particular senator or you don't like being called out in public. I want to request that the House leadership reaches out to the House leadership, to the leadership of the COG, so that we do what is right in accordance with the Constitution and the laws of this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
You know, Senator Muma, as part of the leadership of this House, I think I needed to remind you that this House has already written to the COG on how this matter can be resolved. Speaker, if you remember, before we went to Nakuru, the Speaker of this House issued a communication and said, yes, we can have conversations, but we cannot suspend constitutional imperatives. You continue appearing before the committee, and once that is done, in fact, a date was set. But I am telling you, Speaker, as I was saying earlier, this entire problem is a pointer to the total collapse of leadership at the COG. It is the chairperson of the COG who, would you believe it, Speaker, a member of the council, like a governor, would appear in parliament buildings, there where we hold our meetings, ready to appear before the Public Accounts Committee. And she is being called and threatened by the chair of the COG to leave the premises of parliament. I want to tell the country, the problem is the chair of the COG, Governor Jir. And I am ashamed because he's a member of ODM. As his SG, I am very ashamed of the governor of Wajir. Speaker, I want to assure Senator Khalwale that I personally don't mind being criticized for the work that I do. My late boss, the Honorable Raila Odinga, there was one thing he kept telling me, is that Sifuna, you must grow a thick skin. He was one of the most insulted person. Out of the 7 newspapers that are printed in a week, 4 would have his name on the headline. Some abusing him, some praising him. So it comes with the territory. I don't have any issue being criticized. And you can also not threaten Sifuna. I have heard the governor of Samburu saying he's ready to face me. I am still a member of the County Public Accounts Committee. The duel that people want to see is not a physical duel. It is for you to come before the Public Accounts Committee and answer the questions that we as a Senate are going to ask you to answer. Mr. Speaker, we have just, of late, this is a very recent development that the Senate has suddenly become a bad place. When we came to this House, in fact, it is this 4th Senate, Honorable Speaker, that for the first time pushed the amount of money that goes to counties under the shareable revenue across the 400 billion threshold. It had never been done. It is us. Mr. Speaker, when these governors want things, they look for us to be able to push for them. I was again embarrassed to see the COG sitting in this chamber before our finance committee chaired by Senator Roba, coming to tell us to help them to push what the national government has proposed in this financial year from 420 to 450. In fact, Speaker, if you have noticed, these days I don't even talk about that 450 billion that I used to sing every day in that expired MOU. Because I'm asking myself, 450 billion to go to Governor Jir. 450 billion to go to Governor Jir. And these are the governors who are buying supplements for wild animals. I am conflicted because I swore an oath to defend counties and their governments, but not these ones. Not these ones, Honorable Speaker. When they had a problem with RMLF and the National Assembly was refusing to release money for roads, they came to Sifuna. They came to this House. They came to the Senate. We were fighting for them. In fact, it is them who ran away. In fact, these governors, I am telling you, Speaker, there is a total collapse of leadership of the COG. They will come here when they have problems. We agree that because we are the devolution family, we will fight this fight together. When they are called somewhere behind the tent there, you hear, oh, they have reached an agreement with the National Assembly or with the state. They abandon the fight, Mr. Speaker. And then they leave the senators hanging there. Speaker, it is this House, it is the Committee of the Public Accounts Committee that wrote off 16 billion Kenya shillings in pending bills from Nairobi County books. We sat down with the then Minister for Treasury at the onset of this House and the Comptroller of State House, and we told them in no uncertain terms that the bills that were incurred by NMS were not going to be paid by the county government of Nairobi. That was the Senate. That was Sifuna. That was the County Public Accounts Committee, Honorable Speaker. They came to us crying that because of late exchequer releases, when they delay in paying VAT and not VAT, payee remittances to KRA, there are penalties that are imposed on that late remittance. It was this committee called County Public Accounts Committee. It was Sifuna. It was this Senate that sat down with the Ministry of Finance or the Treasury, and we agreed that because the problem is not originating from the county side, that because late exchequer releases are a reality, you cannot delay giving us money, then when I delay remitting payee for my employees, you add a penalty on top. It was this House that they are now demonizing. Honorable Speaker, it is this House that they are demonizing that ensured that we passed a law here for financial autonomy for the assemblies, because the governors were running circles around the assemblies with the famous Form C, Honorable Speaker. So we have done a lot of things. Speaker, there was the other one of, I think it was for shareable revenue. I've addressed that. There was a question of late exchequer releases. Speaker, whenever there is a delay, you will hear the national government saying, we are up to date. And yet the governors come to our committee and tell us, no, we are behind 3 months. This is the question. How is it possible that they only come to us when they want things? That we are only good people when we are pursuing what they consider their interests. But now, because we want to ask for accountability for the same amount that we fight for, they are demonizing us. Speaker, we were convinced this last financial year by the so-called small counties. I remember the small counties like Lamu and the others, and Viga, and they came together and told us that we need to introduce in the new formula an affirmative action amount. The only governor from those 13 counties who has appeared before us and actually has said thank you for the fight for devolution is the governor for Nyandarua. He is the only one. He is the only one. These other ones continue to insult us. Even up to today, they are still calling us names, Honorable Speaker. So we have told them that because we are also politicians, we can throw down. You know, these suits, Honorable Speaker, they are just clothes. We can remove them and just wear magwanda rasmi ya vita. Nobody should think that because Sifuna wears a suit every day, that in certain circumstances, if need be, I cannot throw around. I mean, they should not threaten us. So, what we were objecting to yesterday, and I want the country to understand this, you have a governor who you have given resources. The Constitution requires him to come and account for those resources. You have invited him once. You have invited him twice. You have invited him 3 times. You have issued summons to him. You have actually sent the police to look for him. He has refused to appear before the County Public Accounts Committee and before the Senate. Then he comes to the Senate to create content for his TikTok out here. And yet there is a live court, a live matter before the committee and a live arrest warrant. As a lawyer, I am telling you, as a lawyer, Mr. Speaker, I know you are my classmate. You know that it is the responsibility of everyone. If you know there is a thief who the chief is looking for, even in the village there, chief has put a notice saying, if you see this gentleman, you tell him we are looking for him. And then he comes and prances around here with a battery of journalists making content for his Facebook page. I mean, will you expect us to sit here and just also, I'ma send him some likes? It is not possible. It is not possible. So Governor Lelit, you know where to find me. I am a member still of the Public Accounts Committee. And the questions that I have for you, you must answer. You must answer. You can't threaten me with anything. Yeah? I am doing my job like constitutionally, the job that I was given to do under the Constitution, and you cannot threaten anyone. I am available. I am available. We are going to do a schedule, Honorable Speaker, as we told this House, for the meetings of a Public Accounts Committee in accordance with this motion that has required us, Honorable Speaker, to enforce fiduciary accountability by resummoning non-compliant county governors, recommending sanctions for defiance, including budget withholding, which we are already doing, and escalating unresolved cases to the Control of Budget, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission or Director of Public Prosecutions as appropriate. We are prepared to do that job, whether you jump up, whether you run away. We will. The law.
Senator Sifuna, your time is up. Honorable Senators, before I allow more members to continue with their contribution to the motion, I have got communication to make on visiting delegation from the Kenyatta University. Senator Olekina, take the nearest seat. Thank you. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, visiting delegation from the Kenyatta University. The delegation comprises 33 students who are visiting the Senate for an academic tour. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful learning in the Senate. And I thank you. This delegation, I'm notified, are from the great county of Homa Bay. I cannot see the representation from Homa Bay. Senator Kajwang is not in the house, as well as Senator Beatrice, but Senator Okech, being the neighbor, I'll give you in under 1 minute to welcome the delegation from Kenyatta University.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. It actually gives me a lot of delight to see these wonderful young people, or younger people for this matter, given that I've been given this opportunity, coming to this house. Mr. Speaker, you know, during the study days, many people really struggles in different schools, you know, waking up in the morning in what we used to call preps, and be able to study to the extent of making it to the university. You deserve a serious congratulations. But even more importantly, to get even time to come to this house to learn from these wonderful senators what we do to be able to contribute to the nation is even more beautiful. You have come here when we're discussing a very serious matter on the integrity of our governors, on the issue of accountability. And I think that as a country, if there's a generation that has given us hope more than even ourselves, is your generation. Because your generation is the generation that stood up against any issues of accountability of this country. And you said that your desire for this country is just to see a country that has got a sense of good governance. So you have found us when you're discussing a serious matter where governors don't want to account to the people of Kenya on the money that they are using. If there's anything you want to learn from this place, is that the voices that you have been putting outside there, demanding and clamoring for justice and accountability, you have now seen them practically here. This means that even for you, sky is not even the limit. I'm seeing among yourself senators of the future here. I'm seeing among yourself president of the future. I'm seeing ministers. And I'm even seeing global business leaders among yourselves. My advice to you is work hard and never arrive. Because what you're seeing here, you are the future leaders for our country, and you'll do better than us for sure. When we leave here, I would definitely want to come and have a chat with you guys. And because the house, you can see my leaders are here. The two leaders, Senator Ledama is here, who is my whip, and his deputy, Senator Sifuna. I would ask that they come also and greet you in a special way that we do in this house, that sometimes I don't have the powers to untie their shoes. They have got better ways of greeting you than myself. So when you leave, I'll make sure that I come with the two of them to say hi to you. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order, members. And Senator Eddy. You have caused the guests in the House to do what is not supposed to be done in chambers, clapping their hands. Senator Joyce Korir, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance also to contribute and support the report that has been brought forward by the Committee on CPAC, led by Honorable Ledama, a good neighbor of mine. Honorable Speaker, before I comment on this, allow me to first thank the committees of this House for the work that they are doing. And Honorable Speaker, I just want to commend them for the role that they are playing in terms of oversight, Honorable Speaker, as enshrined in the Constitution, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have seen a lot of fights in the social media and even within this House. I just want to remind the Kenyans that, Honorable Speaker, the Committee on CPAC operates with other relevant oversight bodies, including the Controller of Budget, including the Auditor General, who gives us these reports. Honorable Speaker, once the honorable members fight for the resources to go to the county governments, it is the duty of this House to make sure that the monies that have been sent to the county governments are prudently used. The issues that are in the floor of the House and even within the social media right now, Honorable Speaker, are issues that the members of the public should know, because the Senate is the consumer of the Auditor General's report. They speak based on the facts that have been collected at the grassroots level. Remember, Honorable Speaker, these resources goes to the grassroots. The projects that have been collected, the CIDB that was made by the residents of these counties. And after the CIDB has been made, they come now and do the annual budget. That is where these resources are budgeted for. As we speak now, Honorable Speaker, it is within our fingertips that these resources were supposed to do 1, 2, 3 things that members have raised in this House, which others have raised the figures in terms of purchases, others have misused in terms of appropriation, others have done things, Honorable Speaker, that they need answers. We need answers as a House, because at the end of the day, the governors fight day in, day out, to make sure that there is increment in terms of revenues that are being given, or the share that is given by the national government to the county governments, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the 29 counties that have refused to appear before the committee, I want to say, Honorable Speaker, this is a constitutional issue, that it is always duty of each and every county to appear and respond to the issues, not issues that has been raised by the Senate, but the issues that has been raised by the Auditor General. Remember, Honorable Speaker, the fight that we are fighting is the monies that are meant to equip the hospitals, the monies that are meant to pay the workers that are working for these governors, the monies that are meant to do the roads, the monies that are meant, name it, Honorable Speaker. But because of the misuse by the relevant governors that have been mentioned, the 29 counties, and they have gone ahead to make sure that they don't want to appear before this House to answer these questions, because these are questions that we are raising on behalf of our counties, on behalf of our residents, on behalf of the Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, I also want to say this, that a number of amendments have been raised by the honorable members. But I want to ask, this honorable house, how far have we gone since the inception of these county governments in terms of making sure that we put them to toast in responding to these issues that have been raised by the controller of budget or the auditor general? Honorable Speaker, the auditor has been raising this question. It has been deliberated in this floor of the House. It has been given to the relevant bodies, the bodies that collaborate with the Senate in terms of oversight. But as we speak now, Honorable Speaker, there is none that has been responded to. I hope the clerks are not messing up me with the time. I'm also very observant, because you need to tell me how many minutes I've spoken. So don't do your things. Honorable Speaker, I want to say...
Senator Joyce.
Yeah?
This system it counts on time. So
I understand.
You don't have to worry about anything that's happening.
Very true.
The clerks are doing their job. You still have got 4 minutes and 4 seconds to conclude your submissions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to remind them. Sometimes, you know, they... Yeah. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that there are a number of cases that have been raised since the inception of the county governments. They have been raised with the ESCC. They have been raised with the control of budget. They have been raised with the DPP. We also need to get the report as to where, to get the report on the answers pertaining the issues that were raised since the inceptions of this county government. Because, Honorable Speaker, we will be debating these things day in, day out without relevant answers, Honorable Speaker. We need to get this. We need to move from here, Honorable Speaker. Say that is not be just, we are just debating because it's a debate. We are not in any competition with the governors. What we are saying is the monies that the Senate is fighting for, the monies that the national government is trying to raise, the monies that are being taxed from the citizens of this country must be put to use prudently. That is the issue, Honorable Speaker. So we will need to know, Honorable Speaker, despite the fact that the committee has recommended that the relevant bodies should take lead in terms of making sure that they assist us with these wrong governors, we also need to get the reports that has been raised from the inception of these county governments, how far they have been answered, who has been apprehended, how many resources have been returned back to those relevant counties which have been misused, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I don't want to say much, but I just want to say that we have enough statutory instruments that are supposed to guide us as a house, that are supposed to guide our governors, that are supposed to guide the residents of this country in terms of making sure that their monies are put to use prudently, Honorable Speaker. That is supposed to guide this house in terms of their oversight role, Honorable Speaker. So I just want to say that I commend the committee in terms of the way they are doing their things. It is their mandate. I don't want to read their mandate in the standing orders. It's known that it is their work. It is the work of this committee to make sure that the report of the Auditor General is implemented to the letter in terms of making sure that they give answers as to why a number of projects are exaggerated, a number of projects are white elephant within the villages, a number of projects cannot be accounted for, Honorable Speaker. So I just want to support the committee and to say that job well done, continue doing your work. That is the work of this house. We are always there to stand with you, and we want to say that the governors must give an answer to this house on the issues of the resources that we are giving them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
How you see, Senator Joyce, you're just worried. You did not fully utilize your minutes. And I will donate that to Senator Onyonka, whom I'm giving the opportunity to speak to this motion right away.
Mr. Speaker, I want to say very sincerely that, first of all, before I say anything, I would like to request to move a motion to amend certain words within the motion that Honorable Ekina had laid on the table. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I request to move the motion to be amended by deleting the word select committees on CPAC and CPI, deleting the word select committees on CPAC and CPI and SF immediately, quote unquote, appearing paragraph 5 of the motion, and substituting with the words to establish an ad hoc committee comprising of 15 senators, quote, close the quote, blah, blah. And number 2, or B, Mr. Speaker, inserting a new resolution after the resolution listed in number 4 to, quote, submit a final report to the Senate within 90 days from its establishment. Mr. Speaker, it is a very interesting day for me today. At a personal level, it's really something that I kind of been wanting to have an opportunity to discuss. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I have looked at the audited accounts of Kisii County. And that is the county that I represent. And some of the things you see in the Kisii County report, they're just astounding as they are shocking. And I know that this is not just happening within Kisii County. Apparently, Mr. Speaker, all governors, once they take over power, they behave the same. And I have been really observing what they do. Number 1, they make sure they look for a way to control the members of the county assembly. Number 2, they then immediately after they have taken over, come up and they want to change everything about the personnel that was working for that county when the governor who was there before them was there. And that goes into some of them deliberately trying to disband the Public Service Board, some of them doing cross-transferred, even some of the individuals within the county system, whether it's health, whether it's road construction, and even if these people were trained and they received executive training so that they could produce the results were expected, they're immediately transferred because they are not behaving nicely. Mr. Speaker, if you look at all our county governments, none of them has ever done, and I would like to see which one has, and I will give them recommendations for an A. Many of the county governments, close to, out of the 47, close to 40, have never done a biometric registration exercise to know the total number of workers in the county system who are either permanent and pensionable or temporary workers. And some of these, Mr. Speaker, the reason why, and I want to tell my colleagues here, is because many of our colleagues, the governors who are saying how this house is useless and in fact we have no business talking to them, are the ones who have been keeping those lists where they are having the lists manual and they are paying a wage bill of about 40 to 50 million a month. That money is what is the cash cow and is the kitty that is supposed to be utilized to do politics. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the way our governors behave, immediately a governor is elected, the pending bills that existed, they disregard all of them and begin to bring companies that were working, that are owned by their friends, and these companies are the ones that are given work, and as a result, they have thrown away the first in, first out policy which used to be there in government employment and government payments, and right now it is whoever that knows the executive who is paid first, and those are the people who receive the best jobs in the county governments. As a result, like in Kisii County, our pending bills when I was elected 4 years ago were actually 1.2 billion. Up to now, close to 700, 800 million has been paid out as pending bills money. But Kisii again has incurred an extra pending bill of 1 billion shillings. So these are the issues that I think we need to talk about. You look at the own source revenue, how much money are county governments collecting? Why do counties don't want to have the same financial platform to run their taxes which they are collecting, like KRA does? In fact, some of them had wanted to use KRA. They don't. They must get a company which comes up and works, and that company is the one which kickbacks are exchanged, and that is where they share the money, Mr. Speaker. The truth and the reality is that now we are the highest taxers. We are the people who tax most our sick people. The FIF funds, which are supposed to be generated within our health facilities in our counties, which were never meant for profit making. Now, those funds are actually kept. Most of them are collected manually. Some very good counties have gone the electronic way, and we give them appreciation. We have seen what they are doing, but many of our friends in this sector are actually taking FIF funds, and they are the funds which they are mismanaging. Mr. Speaker, I will give you just 3 examples. A company comes to Kisii 3 years ago and is supposed to be doing the work of constructing the facilities that were supposed to be for industrial. Mr. Speaker, is on first, I think on second floor. And that building is supposed to be building the governor's office. The governor of Kisii already has an office. The county assembly were the ones missing a few blocks, maybe 1 block, and they would have most probably been fitted into those offices. We are at 450 and we are not done yet. Mr. Speaker, when you look at procurement laws, you gentlemen, you saw the other day, my governor brilliantly came out and displayed all those machines saying how he's going to do fantastic roads. The truth is, those machines, nobody knows who the owner is. The company that is supposed to do roads in my county, nobody knows who he is. The employees who are supposed to work, nobody knows whether they're private or they're going to be workers of the county government. And as we speak, nobody has seen a single discussion, a single agreement, seen what the county government and this PPP outfit signed. And the truth, when you listen to all the contractors and people who are the stakeholders, no public hearings were discussed for people to be asked whether the county government was to go and buy machinery and equipment worth $1 billion shillings. And yet, Mr. Speaker, the amount of money that was in the budget to purchase those machines was 200 million, which means Kisii County again has now created another pending bill. Then you come where lawyers are having cases, and those cases are won by the litigants, and the county government doesn't go for appeal, and their fees increase from 2.1 million to 7.9 million because the county refused not to pay the litigants, and as a result, there are 3-4 cases like that. And you look at the whole audit report, 375 million, which cannot be accounted completely on money used for fueling machines and equipment of the county government. There is a section where we are also discussing about 48 million, which has been used for fuel and lubricants. If you look at the total number of vehicles that the county government has got, fuel and lubricants, if members of this office, this house, could sit down and calculate what 48 million can buy in fuel in a year, so that we are able to know how many vehicles you need to have, which kilometers you do and all that, you'll find this is one of the biggest scams on how money is pilfered from the CRF, as if vehicles are being run and as if we are going to fuel all these vehicles which the governor is running from. Of course, some governors think they're president, so they are running around and going to functions and rallies. Finally, Mr. Speaker, what do we do? Suggestions. I know many of us are always criticized that we never give solutions. We need to get out of this building and go and visit these counties, because the dirt and the stuff going on, we must be able to visit. We must make sure that we give master and clout to the EACC if it means we create an independent arm that is going to monitor and audit and look at the criminality going on with all our counties. We can do that. The systems must be made stronger. We must create a higher standard of public good, where people who are leaders are able to carry themselves with decency, and we must strengthen Chapter 6. I have not discussed the minerals and how some governors are selling minerals from their county governments. I have not discussed how in Kisii, Tabaka Soapstone, my governor picks up a Chinese company and gives them the picking out of all the soapstone, the only stone like that in the world, and they take it away. And yet the president And when we were discussing this 2 years ago, we said Kisii needed to have a factory because the soapstone is a very unique stone globally. We are, I think, 1 or 2 other countries that have that stone. And yet, we sell that to the Chinese. We are cutting trees, Homa Bay, South Nyanza, and Kisii County, where the Chinese are crushing our timber, and they are picking it, putting it in trucks, and these trucks are sending the timber to China. Then it is brought to look like what we have here. You think the timber is natural, and yet it's just been doctored. And you know what? We are deforesting unbelievably. Soon, Kisii is going to become a desert. These are the issues. Our governors don't do public hearings. They don't consult anybody. They don't ask anybody, even when they're doing anything. When we begin to talk about oversight, they say we are extorting them. They say we are petty. They say we want their money. And we have been telling them we no longer admire money that is stolen, that is supposed to make us happy. What we want to be proud bequeathers of Kenya's history, so that when devolution is high, is rated, is evaluated, and for the last 15 years, what is it that we have done that has changed the lives of our people? That is why our youth are getting angry with us. If all of us are thieves, and all of us basically steal their futures. Mr. Speaker, I want to beg to this House, this is the best opportunity we have to sort out the mess we have created. Let us look at the structures. Let us look at the consolidated fund. Let us look at the CRF fund, how it's being handled. Let us look at the IFMI system. Let us make sure the e-payment system, if that is what it requires for us to straighten the financials, so be it. You find governors who are not giving the statutory payments. My county, Kisii, cannot pay KRA 36 million. 36 million. You have people who are supposed to be given gratuity. They are not being paid. And it's not just Kisii only. It is this republic. Can you imagine we who work in this house going home after we have finished our 1, 2, 3 terms, and you are told that Parliament cannot pay your gratuity? How would you feel? Money that was picked from NHHF, NHIF, NSSF, all those deductions were picked by the governor. And some
You now may need to move your motion to amend in 15 seconds. I'll give you 30 seconds so that you conclude and move.
Mr. Speaker, I request to move the motion to amend by A, deleting the words select committees on CPAC and CPI and SF immediately, appearing in paragraph 5 of the motion, and substituting with the words to establish an ad hoc committee comprising of 15 senators. B, inserting a new resolution after the resolution listed on number 4, submit a final report to the Senate within 90 days of this establishment. To finalize, Mr. Speaker, you notice when one governor does something, everybody does it. They started packaging milk. Instead of them even having the audacity to buy the milk locally, they go and get powdered milk from Ukraine, some of it from China, which is fake, and that is what they're making milk, and they package the milk boxes on their colors and on their ugly pictures so that the children can love them as they die. This House has a responsibility to change that history, because I think we are better than many of these people think we are. I say thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Who is seconding your proposal to amend the motion? Senator Onyonga, you are a seasoned legislator. You know what to do. You don't expect the chair to direct you exactly, even on that particular aspect of.
I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, I was emotional with myself. I apologize.
Accepted.
Thank you. Ati?
Senator Kinyua.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Senator Kinyua.
Asante, Bwana Spika. Naunga mkono marekebisho ya mswada kama yalivyopendekezwa na Senator wa Kisii, Senator Richard Onyonka. Bwana Spika, kuanzia mwanzo nataka kusema ya kwamba hatupaswi kurudi nyuma sisi kama seneti baada ya sisi kupitisha jambo. Jana Bwana Spika, tulipitisha ya kwamba tutashughulikia mswada yoyote ambayo utakuwa ukipeleka hela katika gatuzi zetu. Bwana Spika, lakini nimesikia kwa muda mchache uliopita seneta wa Kakamega Boni Harwale na seneta wa Mandera Ali Roba wakijaribu kusema ya kwamba kuna sheria ambazo tutakuwa tumezivunja. Bwana Spika, nataka kusema la, kwa sababu tukipitisha jambo lolote hapa tunapaswa kulifuatilia, kwa sababu hilo ndio jambo la manufaa kwetu. Bwana Spika, kwanza nipongeze kamati ambayo imeshughulikia na kuleta ripoti hapa, na vile vile nimpongeze seneta wa Narok kwa mswada alioleta, hata ijapokuwa marekebisho tayari yamewekwa. Bwana Spika, katika kaunti ya Laikipia, hela ambazo zinapaswa kuwa zikileta maendeleo, Bwana Spika, hela nyingi, 55% ya hela ambazo zinaenda Laikipia, Bwana Spika, zinatumika kwa kulipa mishahara. Bwana Spika, hii ni kinyume na katiba yetu, kwa sababu inasema hela ambazo zinapaswa kutumika katika mishahara ni 35%. Bwana Spika, gatuzi ya Laikipia imekuwa ni kama ofisi ya malipo ya mishahara. Kwa hivyo unapata mambo mengi hayatendeki Laikipia, Bwana Spika. Unapata hela nyingi zimechukuliwa na hayo sio majukumu. Kwa hivyo hapo tunaona magavana wanazembea katika kazi yao. Badala ya wao wachangamkie kazi ambayo wamepewa kikatiba, huwa anaifanya. Kwa loan katika mabenki, unapata mtu anafuatiliwa na benki, yeye alipe loan ambazo amekuwa akichukua katika banki, lakini hawezi akalipwa kwa sababu gatuzi zetu hazilipi madeni. Na inajulikana wazi katika katiba ya Kenya inasema ya kwamba jambo la kwanza kulipwa ni madeni ambayo watu walionayo, iwe ni serikali kuu, iwe ni serikali ya gatuzi, Bwana Spika. Lakini gatuzi ya Laikipia unapata watu sasa hawalipi pesa zao. Wengine tayari wamekufa, wengine tayari wanataka kujinyonga, Bwana Spika. Na hawa ni vijana, Bwana Spika, wale ambao tuliambia kwamba wachukue mikopo. Baada ya kuchukua mikopo, Bwana Spika, waweze kufanya kazi katika gatuzi zetu. Lakini baada ya wao kuchukua mikopo na kufanya kazi katika zile gatuzi, hawalipwi, Bwana Spika. Cherargei anajua vizuri, hata ukienda Nandi shida ni ile ile, ukienda Kakamega shida ni ile ile, Laikipia shida ni hiyo hiyo, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo tunaambia magavana wawajibike na waweze kulipa madeni. Jambo lingine, Bwana Spika, ukitembelea katika gatuzi ya Laikipia, tayari tunapoongea na wewe wauguzi wamegoma. Kisa na maana, hela zao hawajalipwa. Mishahara ambayo ilipendekezwa na kamati ambayo inahusika na mambo ya mishahara, kwa lugha ya Kiingereza SRC, wanapaswa wawe wameongezewa pesa. Lakini Bwana Spika, hawajapewa zile hela ambazo wanapaswa kuwa akipewa. Wamekuwa katika vile viwango, badala wao kupandishwa madaraka, unapata mtu ameishi katika kile kiwango kwa muda mrefu. Bwana Spika, hiyo ndio inaleta ule mgogoro katika gatuzi yetu, alafu unapata wale wauguzi wamegoma. Bwana Spika, ukitembelea hospitali zetu, uende Nyahururu, uende Nanyuki, uende Dodo, uende Ramuria, uende Kinamba, Bwana Spika, unapata hospitali hazina dawa. Hospitali hazina dawa. Watu wanaenda wanaandikiwa dawa, alafu wanaambiwa waende nje katika chemist zilizo karibu, waende wakanunue huko dawa. Bwana Spika, ilhali hapa katika seneti hii, nakumbuka nataka kushukuru maseneta Cherargei pamoja na seneta wa Bungoma Kiranja, walio wengi walisukuma sana kusema ya kwamba walisukuma sana na kusema ya kwamba hela ziongezewe kaunti ndogo. Laikipia tukaongezewa milioni 700. Vile vile Lamu, Kamau alikuwa katika mstari wa mbele kusukuma, na tukaongeza zile hela, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo tunapaswa tuone dawa hospitalini, Bwana Spika, na si dawa peke yake, tunapaswa tuone vifaa vinavyohitajika katika hospitali zikiwa pale hospitalini, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ukiangalia mambo ambayo yamekuwa yakifanyika Laikipia, bei ya maji, Bwana Spika, ukiangalia katika ripoti iliyoletwa, bei ya maji Laikipia, Bwana Spika, iko juu sana kila mahali ukienda Laikipia bei ya maji iko juu. Bwana Spika, inakuwa ni rahisi kuoga na maziwa Laikipia kushinda kuoga na maji, kwa sababu bei ya maji ni maradufu, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo inapaswa iangaliwe, kwa sababu haitakubalika. Sisi hapa Seneti tumechangamkia na tumepigana vita vikali pesa ziweze kuongezwa. Lakini hawa magavana wakiambiwa wawajibike, Bwana Spika, na kamati ya ukaguzi wa fedha inayoongozwa na Senator Kajwang', wanaanza kucheza mchezo unaofanywa hapa mjini. Mwizi akipatikana anasema yule mwingine ni mwizi. Wameanza kusema Senator Kajwang', Senator Sifuna, Senator Cherargei na Senator Mwaruma eti wao wanawaitisha sijui nini. Wanawezaje kuitishwa chochote? Mimi namjua Senator Cherargei, hawezi kuitisha chochote. Ni mtu ambaye ametosheka na hela ambazo analipwa katika seneti hii. Kwa hivyo hawa watu ambao wanaibia wananchi wa Kenya pesa zao, kamati ambayo inahusika wasilegeze kamba, na hao maseneta hawapaswi kuondolewa katika ile kamati.
Senator Kinyua, do you want to be
nataka kufahamishwa na ndugu yangu, lakini
well,
muda wangu usimamishwe.
That will eat into your time, Senator Kinyua, you know that. Proceed, Senator Cherargei, to inform Senator Kinyua.
Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kumjulisha ndugu yangu Senator wa Laikipia ambaye ameongea Kiswahili sanifu sana, ya kwamba sisi kama kamati ya ukaguzi wa fedha za counties, Mheshimiwa Spika, huwa tunaitisha stakabadhi za ukaguzi. Hatuitishi mambo mengi. Nafikiri hiyo imekuwa wazi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Asante.
Asante Bwana Spika. Nakubaliana na yeye, wafanyi haya mambo hombera. Wanafanya wakitumia ile lugha wakitumia stakabadhi ambazo zinapaswa kuwa zikitumiwa. Bwana Spika, vile vile ukiangalia ukitembelea makafani ya Laikipia na Nyuki na Nyahururu, iko katika hali mbaya sana. Kwa hivyo gavana anapaswa kuwa akiwajibika na kuangalia kwamba makafani yetu yako katika hali ambayo inapaswa kuwa. Bwana Spika, vile vile serikali kuu inapaswa iwajibike, kwa sababu Laikipia tayari katika zile sehemu tulizotenga ama shamba tuliotenga kwa sababu ya kuweka viwanda na biashara ndogo ndogo, tayari sisi Laikipia tulitoa milioni 250, lakini serikali kuu inapaswa iwajibike, iweze kupatia gatuzi ya Laikipia, serikali ya Laikipia milioni 250, ndio tuweze kutengeneza vile viwanda na vile vile hizi biashara ndogo ndogo ziweze kunawiri, kwa sababu tayari Bwana Spika tumeweka hiyo sehemu kando. Bwana Spika, naunga mkono marekebisho haya yaliyoletwa na seneta kusema ya kwamba tuwe na kamati maalum, kamati ambayo itajumuisha maseneta 15 ndio waweze kuangazia vizuri kutekelezwa kwa haya mapendekezo ambayo yamependekezwa na hizi kamati, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo mimi naunga mkono mswada na marekebisho haya yaliyoletwa, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, itajulikana ya kwamba kamati ambazo zimeshughulikia haya mambo itakuwa ni vigumu tena kwa sana kuweza kufuatilia kutekeleza kwa yale mapendekezo ambayo yameletwa. Kwa hivyo hii kamati ya maseneta 15, nataka kuambia kwamba hata wao watajipata katika hali hiyo maseneta akina Seneta Sifuna, akina Seneta Cherargei waliojipata, ikiwa
Senator Kinyua, your time is up. You've seconded. Now, Honorable Senators, I wish to propose the question that the motion be amended: A, by deleting the words select committees on CPAC and CPI and SF immediately appearing in paragraph 5 of the motion, and substituting with the words to establish an ad hoc committee comprising of 15 senators. 2, and B, inserting a new resolution after the resolution listed at number 4, submit a final report to the Senate within 90 days from its establishment. Now, Honorable Senators, you will appreciate that this is a motion which was moved. The proposal to amend is on 2 items. Substantively, the motion is not being amended other than with regards to the resolutions being sought. And it is now available for you to debate whether you agree with the proposals to amend the motion as proposed or otherwise. I have Senator Wafula.
Thank you. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa nafasi hii ili niweze kuchangia katika hoja ama mchakato wa uwajibikaji katika counties za humu nchini, na jinsi wenzangu wamedhihirisha kwamba wakati umefika Wakenya waone uzito wa shilingi ama jasho lao, waone likitekeleza miradi ya maendeleo kutokana na ushuru wanaolipa. Mheshimiwa Spika, tumesoma ripoti ya mkaguzi wa vitabu vya hesabu na tumegundua baadhi ya magavana hapa nchini Kenya vile vile wameanza kuwa wataalamu wa kubuni vitabu na hesabu gushi ili mdadisi wa hesabu aweze kukosa kupata ukweli. Mheshimiwa Spika, nakumbuka nilikuona kule nyanjani ukifanya ukaguzi wa miradi ya maendeleo katika vyuo vya chekechea. Hii ni ishara tosha kwamba mkaguzi wa hesabu huenda alisema chuo cha chekechea kilijengwa na kikakamilika na malipo yakafanywa na ripoti kaandikwa. Lakini unapofika mashinani, Mheshimiwa Spika, unapata hata msingi peke yake haukujengwa. Hii ni kusema kwamba Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati umefika, kando na kuzingatia vitabu hivi, Wakenya wahusike na wajibike kuhakikisha miradi ambayo imetangazwa ama kandarasi ambazo zimepewa Wakenya kazi itendeke. Mheshimiwa Spika, ukizuru kaunti ya Bungoma, kaunti hii ina Wakenya ambao ni wachapakazi, Wakenya ambao ni waadilifu, Wakenya ambao wanamcha Mungu, na Wakenya ambao wanajivunia kaunti yao. Mheshimiwa Spika, ukienda katika hospitali ya kiwango cha 4 kule Sirisia, eneo bunge la Sirisia, Mheshimiwa Spika, hospitali kubwa imejengwa ya ghorofa. Mheshimiwa Spika, sasa inapita miaka 5 haijakamilika. Hospitali hii haina maeneo ya majitaka na mahali ambapo uchafu wa hospitali utawekwa. Watu wa eneo bunge la Sirisia wanajiuliza kila mara, kiongozi wao gavana anapita huku na huku, lakini hawezi kusuluhisha donda sugu la hospitali hiyo, na ilhali kandarasi ilipewa, mwanakandarasi anajulikana na majibu hawapewi watu wa area hiyo. Hospitali ya kiwango cha 4 kule Bumula, Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo ni lile lile. Maji hayapo, wadi ambazo zimo hazina vitanda, maji taka hayajulikani ataenda wapi, na hili ndilo jambo ambalo magavana wanaogopa kujibu. Vyuo vya chekechea kule nyumbani kwetu, Mheshimiwa Spika, mtu anapewa kandarasi ya madarasa 6 hajengi, analipwa. Mwingine amepewa pesa za vyuo anuwai VTCs, hawalipi pesa za capitation ya yule mgao wanafunzi. Alafu ukimuuliza anakuambia unajipiga kifua, wewe ndio unaleta pesa, piga tena meza, pesa zirudi Nairobi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ninasema leo nakubali, masenators mmekubali kwamba mgao na mjadala wa mgao wa fedha usitishwe ili tuone sasa nani hutetea serikali za kaunti. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna mradi kule Bungoma wa uji wa watoto, Mheshimiwa Spika, ya mamilioni ya pesa. Baadhi ya shule wanapewa packet 20, packet 50, na huku anasema mradi umetia fora sana, watoto wameshiba, wana afya. na baadhi ya shule hawajui hata uji huu unatokea wapi, unga huu unanuliwa kivipi, mwanakandarasi huyu alipewa kandarasi hii kivipi. Lakini hawataki tuulize, kwa sababu wale Waingereza walisema ukiwa kwenye meza unala, haipaswi uzungumze, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu mchakato wa kutafuna na kumeza unahitaji umakinifu wa hali ya juu. Lakini nashukuru senators wameamua hiyo meza tutaitikisa, vyombo tutavisambaratisha, meko tutachafua, ili wanapodai kwamba wanataka kukila chakula cha watoto wasikipate. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, kule kwetu Bungoma walizindua mradi wa kujenga ofisi rasmi ya gavana. Zaidi ya milioni 90 zikazikwa ama zikazama. Hadi sasa hata msingi peke yake haujachipuka. Na mwanakandarasi alipokea pesa, akatundika gube gani aste akaenda zake. Mpaka sasa serikali ya kaunti haijatuambia chochote. Na hapa wamengoja, wamenyosha mikono, iko juu, wanangoja fedha zingine. Mheshimiwa Spika, hii tabia mbovu lazima ikome. Kuna baraste pacha kule Bungoma, kutoka Kandui hadi eneo la Musikoma. Barabara hii imepunja pesa bilioni 1.4, barabara ya kilomita 6.7. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni wapi Kenya hii? Barabara ya kilomita 6 inakamua watu wa Bungoma bilioni 1.4. Huu ni wizi wa mali ya umma, na kila mara wanabadilisha hesabu ya barabara. Walipokuja juzi wakamwaga kokoto, mvua ikaja ikasomba yote, alafu wanaomba serikali ya Nairobi ichukue mzigo huo, kwa sababu hao wameshiba. Sasa kuchafua hewa ni watu wa Bungoma waendelee kuvumilia. Mimi kwa niaba ya watu wa Bungoma, Mheshimiwa Spika, ninaungana na masenators wenzangu kwamba sisi ndio kioo cha jamii. Sisi ndio watetezi wa watu wa Bungoma na kaunti zetu tunakotoka, na kila governor awajibike kwa kazi yake. Nimeona kwa vyombo vya habari, Mheshimiwa Spika, ati governor amekaa ametundikwa na wazee, ati wanamtakasa, ati wanamwekea majani hivi, ati alikuwa huku akafanywa madila, sasa wanamtakasa. Mimi naomba watu wa kaunti hiyo, nyinyi ombeni jinsi mnaomba, hatuna shida. Lakini siku ya kiyama ni huyo gavana ajisalimishe mbele ya jumba la Senate na ajibu maswali ya fedha za watu wa kaunti hiyo. Naomba Wakenya popote mlipo, hivi sio vita vya kikabila, hivi sio vita vya kiukoo, hivi sio vita vya kifalsafa, ni vita vya uwajibikaji, jinsi tunatumia pesa za umma. Magavana nilisema jana, Mheshimiwa Rais akienda Bungoma, wao wako mbele wanaimba vidole viwili. Wakipita wakienda Homa Bay, magavana ndio hao hata wamefinyilia maseneta zaonekani na MCS. Lakini ukiwauliza na hizi fedha ambazo mmepewa umetumia aje, anasema huyo kijana, hao viongozi hawana heshima. Wakenya tunawaambia, jumba la Senate tumekata kauli, tutawaandama, tutawafuata. Fedha za basari, Mheshimiwa Spika, na scholarship wametoa mamilioni ya pesa. Mheshimiwa Sotsi tulikuwa naye katika kamiti yake. Nambari ya cheki hayambatani na majina yaliyoandikwa kwenye cheki. Idadi ya fedha zinazoenda kwa shule fulani, ukifika hiyo shule hawahitaji shilingi 50,000, wanahitaji tu shilingi 22,000. Hii pesa ya ziada walikuwa wanalipa ya kufanya nini? Na hakuna thibitisho kwamba wamepokea hizo fedha. Mimi, Mheshimiwa Spika, nimekata kauli kwamba siku ya kiyama kila mtu ataubeba mzigo wake na atasema kwa matendo yake. Naomba niwachie hapo. Nakumbuka Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi Waanglikana wimbo tutauimba wa imani na kila mtu atatoa habari zake mwenyewe mbele za Senate. Siku hiyo inakuja, wapende wasipende. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Omar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I also stand here to add my voice on this motion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this motion is very crucial. And Mr. Speaker, what we are dealing with is something which makes Senate to be where it is. We must have a stand of how to conduct some kind of act of some characters. Mr. Speaker, this motion is about audit report. Mr. Speaker, cross-cutting of all counties, most of the issues which mostly raised by Auditor General is pending bills, leakage of the resources, that is revenue collections, human resources, and implementations of most of these development plan. Mr. Speaker, governors who are holding the position, the offices, let them know their role is their role. One of their role is resource management. Mr. Speaker, if you hold the positions and if you are not willing to be accountable for whatever resource which has been directed to the counties, Mr. Speaker, the easiest way is to resign, so that at least there's no accountability if you resign. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the pending bill, Mr. Speaker, I wonder where this issue of counting pending bills normally come from. Mr. Speaker, why am I saying that? Because when we are dispatching the contracts or whatever, they normally do with budgets, Mr. Speaker. And when Treasury also dispersing the fund, they disperse as per the request of the county. And the county normally requests as per the budgets they have planned for, Mr. Speaker. If at all they request us by the plan, then what is this figure of billions of money of pending bills? To my idea, Mr. Speaker, this pending bill mostly come when the governors normally give out the contracts without the budgets. It is not included in the budget, but they give out the projects. Mr. Speaker, if the project is done, now paying the contractor, it will be a bit difficult, Mr. Speaker. That's exactly what happened to Machakos, which they are not even paying. The contractor come and look for the money, protest, and Mr. Speaker, and at the end, you become a victim, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to reduce this issue of pending bill, Mr. Speaker, we may be encouraged at cutting at the source, means the Treasury deducts the money and the way KRA do, to be deducted at the source and the rest to be dispersed to the county, so that this pending bill issue will be disposed. Mr. Speaker, when I remember, when I come in as a newcomer to the Senate, I sponsored a bill, impromptu payment bill, Mr. Speaker. This House killed. If that bill has been passed, Mr. Speaker, the issue of pending bill will have been sorted out. Mr. Speaker, the revenue collection. Mr. Speaker, I am a vice chair of health. Mr. Speaker, health, we went to almost 28 counties. We realize the health sector is 90% contributing the revenue collection of the county through F5. Mr. Speaker, we realize as a committee that this FIF, there's a committee they normally constitute. Those committees are normally proxy of the governor, which end up using the money for the hospital to the other part of the other part of issues, Mr. Speaker, which end up the hospital to be unable to have drugs, some kind of maintenance, of which is small issues to be handled by the hospital and the dispensaries for themselves. And Mr. Speaker, to avoid that, we must be, as CPIC, the fund must be done properly audits on the constitution, the committees of the FIF must be audited, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the other issue is human resource. Mr. Speaker, when any governor come in, instead of seeing the percentage of absorption, that is, which is required as 35, his or her aim is to impress his people. So he or she will employ more people, his people who are doing campaign for him or her, so that at least to impress them and get more voters on the other side. Mr. Speaker, instead of focusing on the percentage of required on the human resource absorption in the county. Mr. Speaker, there is also implementation bodies, ESCC, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, when PAC give direction of arresting the governors, Mr. Speaker, is the IG to immediately implement so that this thing cannot be, the yesterday escalation cannot be happening again, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the bodies of Auditor General and Controller of Budget, they are independent bodies. Mr. Speaker, for check and balances, their report must be coming to the audit, to the Senate for review and for analyzations and for further recommendation. That is exactly what senators have done, and that is what the senators has recommended, and this is one of the motions which require our implementation. Mr. Speaker, my biggest issue is implementation of the recommendations of all our report which has been tabled here, Mr. Speaker. Nobody follows up, and if we follow up, there is nothing has been done. There are most of report which has been tabled here, Mr. Speaker. We need implementation committee so that they can follow up for implementations, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the amendment of this motion, Mr. Speaker, the two committees done their part. The report is owned by the Senate now. Now it is the higher chance of the Senate to do a further investigation by ad hoc committees of 15 committees, from 15 members, Mr. Speaker. Not preferably from the member of the two committees. It must be selected within so that at least the fair hearing of the governors can be done. Mr. Speaker, with those all remarks, I support and I recommend, Mr. Speaker, the implementation committee to be done so that the implementation of the recommendation must be implemented quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Omar. Honorable Senators, you know what we are now debating is the amendment to the original motion. So even as you contribute, I would like to ask that you also restrict yourself to the position whether you agree with the amendment to create a 15-member ad hoc committee, as well as to give a timeline to that particular committee of 90 days to give a final report to this House, as you delve into the main motion that was moved yesterday, these proposals to amend with regards to two items on the motion, ad hoc committee and a period of 90 days. So, Senator Kamau.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka nichukue hiyo nafasi niweze
kushukuru kamati ambayo kushukuru mheshimiwa senator wa kutoka Narok ambaye ameleta mswada huu. Mheshimiwa Speaker, nataka nichukue fursa niseme kwamba nimefurahishwa sana na mswada huu ambao umeletwa na mheshimiwa senator Ledama Olekina, na nataka niunge mapendekezo ambayo yameletwa katika bunge hili, na niseme kwamba naunga mkono, na nasema ya kwamba ninaunga mkono kwa sababu ya mambo yafuatayo. Mheshimiwa Speaker, tumekuwa na matatizo katika governors ambao wamekuwa wakija katika